For it, man.
So, Mr. David, man, it's crazy. I don't know how many people know this, but I remember the first time that you and we met on La Setenta in that restaurant. It was like fish or something, right? And I think both of us had like 300-400 subscribers at the time. And then now you just grown tremendously, and you have like 3 times as many subscribers as me. So I want to ask you, like, what's it been like with all this growth? Do you feel different? Do you feel like you're famous or not at all?
No. You asked me this question before, and I don't know. Why would I feel famous? I only got 27,000 subscribers. That's what I think.
It's 27,000 subscribers, mostly gringos in Medellin specifically. So
more niched.
Yeah, exactly.
More niched.
I feel like you're the face of Medellin, bro.
I guess so. Because there's not many other like YouTubers that only do Medellin. There's YouTubers that come and travel in Medellin and then leave. But like stay here and constantly make content, I don't think there's that many.
Yeah, I think you're the only one. Or, I mean, there's a couple of other people, but I feel like you and when we started, there weren't a lot of YouTubers, but then now there's a lot of people trying to do it. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Right. And we met during the pandemic?
We did.
That was probably why, because there was nobody here.
That's true.
There was no foreigners. I mean, during the pandemic, man, I kind of liked it because there's no foreigners. I mean, I love meeting people and all this stuff, but it was almost like it was back to Colombia before it became like a huge thing. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I think, so I started my channel in February. I think you started in like April or something,
April.
Right? And then I think we met up in like June?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's cool. So your entire experience like doing YouTube, right? How is it, how have you noticed like your content has changed? Do you see it as like a job? Do you still really enjoy it? Do you get bored sometimes, or?
I see it as a job for sure, 100%, because I know that I need to put out a video, and I'm not the most organized person.
Yeah.
So I tend to procrastinate, which I need to fix.
Okay.
And I procrastinate to the end, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta make a video, and I go and make a video. The good thing is, it's an easier job because for me to turn on the camera and talk about something is pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
I got plenty of topics to talk about. I have plenty of stories. I got plenty of advice, and that might be just how I am as a person. I've always been this way all my life.
Yeah, you're a good storyteller too, and just like because people don't know this, right? For me, it's hard for me to like talk about a topic for 10 minutes, not use a lot of filler words, stay on topic. Like that's why I edit my videos a lot, because I use a lot of it's a lot harder than it looks. So you do it pretty well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It might be because I was so many years as a salesperson.
Yeah.
So I met people in their homes. I sold life insurance. I sat down at their kitchen table and I had to draw their interest or their attention from the get-go. I mean, when you're selling life insurance, you're going to the front door. One way I got their attention was I was one of the first people in Houston that owned a smart car. It was back in 2007 or so, 2006. They were just allowed. They just got approved by the United States to bring in smart cars to the country, and my family, we saw this one guy selling a smart car in Houston, and we're like, let's buy it, because at the time gas was super expensive.
Right.
Well, not like nowadays, but it was back then expensive back then, and we bought it. It was a bright yellow smart car. So what I did was I took that smart car on my appointments, and I parked it right outside the front door, like right in front of when they opened the door. So the first thing I saw was that smart car, and they just laughed, and that made the connection.
And you're like a big guy too, so I imagine
I'm a big guy. I'm in a small car. we're literally one of the first people in Houston. We were driving around the freeway, and people were literally taking the camera out, taking pictures and videotaping me and laughing. In the beginning, it didn't bother me that much, but after like 3 months of constant being like laughed at, ridiculed, it got old. It got to the point where I didn't want to take my car out, you know. But I still did, because it made me money, you know.
Exactly.
You know,
so you think, how do you think your history as a salesperson has affected like the kind of content that you make?
I don't think it was because now I'm like kind of contradicting what I said before. I don't think it's because I was a salesperson. That's me as a person. When I was a kid, and so I grew up in a neighborhood that everybody was older than me. I was like the young person in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So whenever new people came to the neighborhood, I would be like at 7 years old, going knocking on the door and say, "Hey, how you doing? My name is David Martinez. I live over there, and I'm just wondering, do you have any kids my age?" You know.
Really?
So I had no problems like just talking to people or meeting people.
Okay.
So that kind of like, is a salesperson made or born, right? So I'm thinking that's me. And then I was myself selling life insurance, and now it's me doing YouTube.
Do you think, so what's the answer? Are they made or are they born?
I think mostly it can be born, but you can become a salesperson for sure. You can learn the tactics.
Yeah, but I think it's like
and you can become a better salesperson too.
You can get better at it, but I think some people are just more talented at it than others. It's like everybody has their own talent, and some people are just like naturally better at some things than others. And maybe since a kid, you just kind of had that dawn, that gift. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
And so now, like when you're doing YouTube, right? What goes through your head when you're making a video?
Okay, so when I first started, I just turned the camera on and just started talking. And my main thing about when I started YouTube was I wanted to help as many people as possible with what I knew.
Okay.
You know, and like again, it goes back to my past. I've always enjoyed telling people, like, if I went to a certain country or did a certain trip or I went to a certain restaurant, I would tell the people about that place and why I liked it and what I'd recommend them to do.
Yeah.
I would always try to, like, I love just explaining stuff to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with my YouTube. And when I first started, like I said, I just turned the camera on. I said, you know what, I'm going to show everybody around Medellin because nobody was doing that. Everybody comes to Medellin, they go to Poblado, which there's nothing against Poblado.
But
I don't personally like it.
Yeah, me neither.
But some people might like it. Some people, everybody's different.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what, everybody's going to Poblado or they come to Laureles, but there's so much more in Medellin. Let me go show them the rest of the neighborhoods.
They do Comuna 13, they do Guatapé. It's literally the same. Like everybody that comes here to do YouTube, they always focus on the same spots.
Right. So I was like, well, let me show the rest of Medellin, plus let me give some insights on what I know and have them have a better trip, better experience here. And people who want to move here, how to adapt more to the culture.
Okay.
You know, because the worst thing is you can become an expat, move to a different country, and never adapt to the country. And you kind of stay either secluded or you stay in your little expat group, which is totally fine. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But to get the most out of a country and a culture is you adapt, you immerse yourself in the culture.
Right.
You know?
So we were talking about something earlier. You were saying that here in Medellin, it's really hard to make friends. Elaborate a little bit on that. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so, and this is not just me talking. I've had other Colombians from other parts of Colombia tell me this as well.
And when I was living in Medellin, I actually felt the exact same. I thought it was really hard to make Colombian friends unless you lived with them. But I feel like here it's really hard to find community.
So, and someone in the comments might say that's ridiculous. I make friends easy because they're super charismatic. They have no problem. If you're like a person that just goes out and you're making friends with everybody that you meet, you know, you come to the restaurant, you make friends with everybody, you're gonna have a good time here. You're gonna make friends pretty easy because that's how Colombians are. They're very charismatic as well.
Yeah.
But here in Medellin, and I know Medellin very well. I don't know other parts of Colombia very well, but here in Medellin, my theory is they grow up together. They're born here, they grow up together, they have their groups, their cliques.
Right.
And to get into that clique, like to really, really become their friends, like they're constantly inviting you out for a beer, they're constantly inviting you to go on their trips, that kind of stuff, it's hard. They may invite you, hey, let's go, we're gonna get a beer, come out every once in a while.
Right. But you're never gonna be like in the crowd, right? Like.
And when I say this, I'm talking mostly like as a guy making Colombian guy friends. As a guy, you can make Colombian friends or females, but usually it starts out with the intention of dating.
Yeah.
And then maybe the dating doesn't work out, and then you're just like, oh, she's actually a cool person. I want to make her. She's gonna be my friend. I want her as my friend. We don't see a relationship going on.
Okay.
And you stay as a friend, and that can happen. I have friends that I've met from the beginning that we're still friends. They're awesome people.
And was it like females?
Yeah, females.
And was it initially with the intention to date?
With the intention to date, yes. Yeah. Guys, I remember I worked at a co-working spot here in Laureles for many years. 5 years I was there.
Yeah.
And never once was I invited, hey, let's go out to a beer, let's go out to this and that.
Nowadays, do you have a lot of friends here in Colombia? Do you have a lot of Colombian friends?
So that being said, everything I just said before, that being said, there might be some of the people with different circumstances. It might be also my fault. So I tend to stay to myself.
Right.
Like I'm a very social person. I love being around people like me. Like right now with you, I'm feeding off this energy. I feel good.
Yeah.
But I also like tend to stay alone a lot. Like I don't seek it out. And there's other people that might seek it out more than me. They might have more success making friends. So it could be a me situation. I don't know.
Interesting. But do you think that you're just that kind of person? You're more always to yourself? Because I know, like in your videos, you don't open up too much about yourself, and I know it's a personal choice. Do you just like keeping to yourself, or?
I don't open up on my personal stuff because that's just open up to the whole world and why, you know.
Yeah.
And plus, I started my channel trying to help out people, like how to adapt better to the culture, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't think there's any reason to give any more. You know, I like to keep stuff to myself, you know.
So we have like different approaches on YouTube, right? You have a more general approach, you want to help people. And mine has been, I think since the beginning, I try to go towards a more personal path, talking about my life.
Sure.
And Yeah, so how do you feel like that experience has been, like why do you have that philosophy on YouTube? Because our philosophies are really different. Why do you want to keep so, like you don't want to talk about yourself that much?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. But your way of doing it makes sense because the people are following you for you. And if you move to a different country, they want to hear about your points of views in life, you know, like
exactly,
and what you think about this and that. And me, I'm talking about, this neighborhood is probably not the safest neighborhood, or that neighborhood is probably not. So they're coming to me for advice about Medellin Colombia.
Yeah.
But maybe, and that's the mass amount of people, or the people that are watching me, maybe a small percentage says, you know what, I actually like David's opinions about the things that's going on around him.
Yeah.
So if I was to move to a different country, they want my opinion. Like, oh, what does David think about, Ecuador? And I've had people comment, David, why don't you go to Ecuador? I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
So they appreciate my opinion about stuff. So I'm not talking about myself. I'm just talking about what I see.
So it's cool. You kind of position yourself as a person that's like knowledgeable about, how do I say this? Like you're like a go-to person for information, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and about the personal stuff, man, I really don't know. I just didn't go in that direction. I just chose not to.
Yeah, but I feel like ever since I've known you, you're a pretty like private person. You don't share too much about your personal stuff.
I guess not. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's never. Yeah. I mostly like to hear other people's situation.
Yeah.
You know, I'll ask questions about the other person. How you doing? What's going on with you?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I know you've done a few collabs with other YouTubers, right? What has that experience been like?
So good. I've only done like 3 or 4, I think.
Me, Ace, Marshall, Alina.
Yeah, so 4.
And you've done some interviews on other people's channels.
I have. Oh yeah, the podcast.
There was a podcast. There was a guy. I did an interview with him. LG NFTP Lifestyle.
Oh yeah, cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool guy. No, positive experience. Positives.
Yeah.
And what I got out of that is, that's probably your next question, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. What I got out of it is I was impressed because some of those guys, man, they're grinders. Like they work hard in what they're doing, you know. And the other ones, like Alina, for example, she's super organized. Ace, he works hard.
Yeah.
You know. Who was the other one? Marshall. He's creative. Like he was very creative the way he filmed.
Yeah.
I like that. He's a good person. They're all good people so far.
Yeah. Do you feel? Why? How is YouTube different than all the other careers that you've done?
Definitely less of a grind.
You think so? I feel like you grinded for a while, bro. In the beginning, you were pumping out videos like crazy.
Well, actually, no. Yeah, to tell you the truth.
It's like the way I see it is like YouTube is still work. It's just different, right? And there's not a lot of growth in the beginning. So it's like the exponential thing. You put a lot of work in the beginning, you hustle, and then you see a lot of fruits of it later. Like this year, you've grown more in 7 months than the 2 years of YouTube you did before that, right?
Yeah.
So I still think it's a grind.
No, it's definitely a grind. But like, for example, when I sold insurance, I was stuck in traffic every day for like 4 or 5 hours in Houston, and that sucks.
Yeah.
And then going and I didn't mind the part of sitting in front of the kitchen table and talking to people and like explaining stuff to them. I loved that part. The grind of traveling in traffic sucked, you know. And then the other part, my other careers I have, when I was selling insurance in the office here and over the phone, the part that sucked about that was I was stuck inside the office all day on the phone, you know. And I hated that. With YouTube, it's still a grind and it's hard, and most people don't make it. Most people don't. They start and they don't, because it's consistent. And in the beginning, you don't see nothing. You don't see any views. You don't see any kind of whatever.
Those first 1,000 subscribers are hard, bro.
So yeah. But the cool thing about YouTube for me is that it let me get out of the house, and I didn't have to drive a car. I didn't have to be in traffic. So I was able to go in the house, walk around, and just talk, which those things I like. It'd be kind of better if the camera was the actual person I was talking to.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Have you ever thought about hiring somebody else or like making a team out of YouTube?
No, because multiple reasons. One is because now I have somebody depending on me for income, for a salary, and my channel's not that big, you know, not to that point. And 2, I'm so spontaneous and I'm so unorganized that it'll be hard to manage people. Because an idea comes to my head, I got my camera, I pull it on, I go talk about it.
Right.
Versus, okay, I'm paying this person for an hour to be with me, and it's like, it'll be more pressured and more like I feel like I have to do this because of that.
Do you ever have Natty help you with the videos and like have her film you? No, she doesn't like it, or
no? I've had her film me a few times, and she always messed up. I don't know if you saw my video where I was in the treehouse.
Yeah.
And that video? No, I'm sorry, in Guatapé. she was supposed to be filming me. She filmed my stomach because she was putting so much attention on what I was saying.
Yeah.
And she had the camera. She was going like this. She was listening to me, but she was filming my stomach. I'm like, ah, jeez, man. So she was fired.
Would you ever like do videos with her in the future, or I know she's camera shy too, right? So
I'm going to make a video soon talking about why I don't bring my girlfriend on the channel.
Do you get asked about that
all the time, especially in the beginning, and especially every time I have a visa problem, why don't you get married, this and that kind of stuff. Yeah, all the time. So I'm gonna make a video talking about that, but I'll give you a brief explanation. One, she's very private. You think I'm private? She's way more, and her family's very private family.
Okay.
And that's not uncommon here in Colombia.
Yeah, that's true.
People like to, because here in Colombia, it's like in other cultures. I watch a lot of channels in Thailand, and there's a thing in Thailand called saving face.
Yeah.
Right? They always worry about what other people think about them, like what the neighbors think. It's here as well in Colombia. Maybe not as much, but they're always worried about the neighbors.
Their reputation, or like appearance, right? How they come off to other people.
Right. And one reason is because it's very common here that you're born and you grow up and like you have kids and everything all in the same building. Yeah. So those neighbors, they've known you since you were children. Like the parents known you since you were a baby.
Yeah.
So the whole saving face here happens as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's common. It's the same in Manizales too.
And that's big. And also, like, Natty's family is very private. They don't want everybody to know about their private life. Even though I don't talk about my private life, but even showing, like, okay, we're going to this place, we're having this vacation. The other thing that here in Colombia, I'm not sure about all Colombians, but Colombians believe in energy, in the sense that negative energy, if people are like jealous of you from a distance, that can affect the energy. So they kind of believe in that as well. Like,
interesting. I've never seen that actually, so that's an interesting point that you're saying.
Right. It maybe not 100% like woo-woo belief,
right.
But there's still that in the back of their mind, there's this negative. Because like even in Mexico, there's something called ojo. Mal ojo. Someone's like giving you ojo, which means they put like a bad
energy, like vibes
too, because they're jealous. They want bad for you. So if you show too much here in Colombia or in other cultures like Colombia that, oh, I'm traveling to Paris, I'm doing this and that, you get bad energy
like
at you, and that can mess up your track, your path. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. And it's not just Colombia, it's a lot of Latin culture and even Asian cultures.
That's so, I've never seen that.
That being said though, guys don't think that Natty's all woo-woo crazy, no.
Yeah.
But it's just...
It's a culture thing. It's a culture thing.
And, and even then, they're very private people. And at the beginning, if she wanted to be on the channel, I would have brought her on, no big deal. But now, I actually appreciate that she didn't want to be on the channel. Because I don't mind being recognized all over Medellin. I don't mind it. But I wouldn't want like random people walk up with my girlfriend while she's alone, like, hey, Natty is like, one is kind of here in Colombia, if you're a female, you're more on guard because it can be dangerous here.
Right.
And two, random men or people walking up on a girl in the streets should be like, kind of nervous.
That's fair. That's fair. For me, well, I mean, for my wife, we're together all the time, so I feel like people would recognize her, but people who recognize her would recognize me first. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think random people will come up to her. And plus, nobody goes on Manizales, so I don't think that's ever gonna happen to her. That it's interesting because my girl in the beginning, she was very hesitant about being on camera too, but she understands what I do, and I feel like it's my responsibility as one of the Colombian YouTubers to show example of like a good Colombian woman outside of like the sex tourism and what's normally shown out there. Sure. And I feel like my wife is a really good like example for Colombian women, so that's why I like showing her a lot. But it was a struggle for her too.
100%. And when I say that's like a small thing that I'm kind of grateful that she's not on the channel. Like, yeah, who cares, right? If people walk up around, and when I say random, like these are my viewers, like their audience, like great people. Everybody's that met me in Medellin, I've always had great experience. I always talk to them, what's up, and that kind of stuff. The other reason would be if maybe in the future we break up, because you never know. Relationships, like people think, okay, I'm gonna start a relationship and it's gonna be forever. People get married and think it's gonna be forever, but it's not always forever, is it? It's a high percentage not forever. And I don't want to have a breakup that the whole world watches. There's YouTubers.
It's messy, bro.
There's YouTubers who do that. I'm not saying they do it on purpose, but there's some big views. You can get some big views on breakups. We like the whole thumbnail. We broke up and all this sad. And it's probably true. They're sad and they're going through hard times. But because they gave their audience their relationship, like you're giving your audience your relationship. You're allowing them into your relationship, and then when it breaks up, it's almost like a responsibility to let them know that it's done, because you brought them in.
Yeah.
Because I haven't brought anybody in my relationship. If we break up, I don't have to let them
Explain
know.
any. Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's
for
a fair
me,
point.
I'm a very attached person. So if something happened in my relationship, I would be hurt, and it might be a long period of time. I don't want to go through that hurt and everybody else seeing that, and I guarantee the majority of people will be positive and supportive.
Yeah.
But there'll be some people making some snide comments.
Yeah, you just don't want to deal with it.
And if I'm if anybody's in an emotional state that's not the best, and that snide comment might be able to keep me in that emotional state longer than I want to be.
That's fair. I've shown a few of my relationships on my channels before I met my wife, and I hear what you're saying, bro. It just never ended well. It always ended poor. It's a mess, right? Thankfully, you know, for my faith and everything, I don't believe my wife and I were not going to get divorced. So, you know, showing her on my channel, we're safe. But I understand your point of view, you know, especially if you're not married or you don't know what's going to happen in life. Like, I get that, so.
But say if I was to get with someone forever and they don't want to be on the channel, I'm just going to respect them. That's their wish.
Yeah.
She's a person, you know, if she doesn't want to be on the channel, then I'm not going to force her to be. I'm not going to make her feel bad that she's not on the channel. And if people don't understand it, that's their problem.
Yeah, and it's like the purpose of your channel too. Like for me, right? In the future, my girl and I, we've talked about it. So my girl's on my channel, but once we have kids, obviously I'm going to talk a lot about fatherhood and how I'm like raising my kids and everything. But I don't know if I want to put my kids and like show my kids' faces in the video because that could be a different thing too.
Everybody has their limit.
Yeah.
You know, and then who knows? If Natty was different and she wanted to be on the channel, I would probably let her.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't mind. Who knows?
Do you feel like when the audience sees your girlfriend, they get more, not excited, but it's a pleasurable experience as the audience, right? When I see a YouTuber and then they show a little bit about their life, or I see the dynamic between the relationship, it makes things more interesting.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's always more interesting when you have a relationship and you're seeing that. The more you allow into someone's life, it's more interesting, of course.
Yeah.
There's channels that are massive and they grew together. But there's also a channel, I'm not going to name names, but there's a channel that was together and then they broke up and now they're on their own separate channels. That was a messy breakup. But hey, it was good because it got a lot of views.
Yeah.
The girl had started her own channel. Her channel's now growing, getting the same amount of views as this dude, you know. So it could work out. Me personally, as a person,
it's not your style.
I don't want to go through that messiness.
Yeah.
But that being said, who knows? Maybe in the future, if Natty changed her mind, or if we end up separating and I'm with a different person, they want to be part of it.
Okay.
I may consider it, you know. So
Yeah.
We don't know our future, you know.
So let me ask you, what's your future as a YouTuber? What are your future plans? You want to keep doing videos about Colombia? Have you thought about like different topic or a different point of view? Like, what do you want to do in your channel now?
Again, I'm not that organized when it comes to the channel, but I think I've done well keeping on like a specific theme, right? Like I don't change too much. I'll probably keep going the direction I'm going unless I see something like a slight difference that can go in that direction. It's going to do good for my channel and also good for me mentally. Like if I'm enjoying a different way of showing content or talking about different kinds of content, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick to the same kind of. You stay in this path and you might kind of veer off a little bit, but I want to stay kind of there. And the far future, we never know. You know, I may have to, you never know. Again, we're in Colombia. Who knows what could happen in this country?
Yeah, that's true.
So it might end up not being safe here anymore in the future. Or it might be, hopefully, I love Colombia and it's forever great.
Right.
But it might come point where I have to leave, so I might have to make content in a different country.
Yeah, when you make content, how much do you think about your audience versus what you want to do?
I think about my audience, I would say 70% what they want to hear about, and then I think about what's the best way I enjoy giving it.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm not gonna make a video and then spend 10 hours editing crazy shots and crazy angles and drones, because that's not good for me. That's just stress. Because again, I don't like being inside. I don't like being in front of a computer.
Right.
It kills me inside.
Yeah.
So I just do it my way. But I try to help the audience, and how do I gauge that? By views. Like the videos, like, this video took off. Obviously, they like this topic. Let's talk more about this topic.
Okay, yeah.
But again, I know there's a lot of people there's certain people that don't like that topic. So I also talk about other topics as well that maybe might not get as many views as the hot topic.
But at least you're touching that. You're giving that part of the audience.
I'm feeding them as well.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because they're the foundation.
Yeah.
Maybe these topics that blew up, those are called viral videos, and those people jump in for a moment and then they leave. And here's a little thoughts on YouTube. People who grow really fast on YouTube from just viral videos, those are the same people that have 100,000 subscribers, but they're getting like 1,000 per view.
Yeah, right.
Per video, 1,000 views per video. Because they grew quick, but they didn't make a foundation of solid viewers who are liking your content no matter what you put out.
Yeah, your stuff is awesome, man. Because I've noticed like ever since the boom that you've had this year, you're on the lower side you get like 6,000, 7,000 videos, but average is like 10, 11, 12. And I feel like every 5 to 10 videos, you get a video that gets like 40,000 views, that gets 50,000 views.
Because I made a good foundation, because as you see, my audience, I have 27,000 subscribers, but my views per video is almost that amount of subscribers.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's true.
And that, I think, in my mind, that's more important than popping off with a bunch of videos that make 5 million views. And then later on, you get a bunch of subscribers, but you go down, and your channel dies.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right.
So do you ever feel like I feel like a problem for a lot of YouTubers is that we're led by our audience, right? And at least for me, because I put so much like personal stuff into my videos, I always struggle like, okay, do I make a video that I know the audience will like or just for the audience, or do I make a video that I personally like because that touches a part of the audience that, like, it may not get as many views, but I get a lot more appreciation for the personal touch about it, you know? And I struggle with this, is like, do I want to do what the audience wants, or do I want to do what I want? Does that struggle ever go into your head, or you just kind of like, or from the beginning you always just try to service the audience, so it's more of like not like a job for you, or maybe, I don't know.
It's almost what I want as well, because I would talk about this stuff anyways. Would I talk about, for example, if my buddy called me and said, Dave, I'm thinking about moving to Colombia, what should I know?
Yeah.
And I'll just tell him the stuff that I know. And I'll do it for free. I'll just talk to him. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm talking to somebody who's thinking about Colombia, what they need to know.
Yeah.
You know? So it's almost like what I would for myself as well.
Yeah, okay.
But I guess what you're saying is, like, for example, I love UFC. I love watching fights. I could make a channel talking about UFC. That's what I would love talking about.
Right.
But my audience probably doesn't like that. Right now, the audience that I cultivated, that I built, right? So they would be like, okay, I'm not gonna watch him anymore because he's doing UFC. So I guess the best way to do is find out what your audience wants, but at the same time what you like as well.
Yeah. Do you see YouTube as more of a job, or more of like a personal thing that you enjoy? Or it could be like a percentage of both.
Man, that's a tough question. When I started YouTube, it was during the pandemic, and it was because I couldn't work because I was stuck in my apartment. They would lock us in, as you probably know, in Colombia. So I couldn't go to my office. I couldn't make calls for insurance, that kind of stuff. So I started researching YouTube, saying, okay, is this even doable? Can you make money off this?
Right.
And I went to University of YouTube, watching like videos on how to start.
We all do, yeah.
Right, I did, man, so much information. And I went it as, okay, I want to make something out of this. I'm going to give him 100%. But at the same time, it was almost a therapy to me, because I was going crazy in my apartment.
So it forced you to get out and do something.
No, I was stuck in my apartment. I couldn't leave. When I first started, I was doing my videos in my balcony.
I remember, yeah.
So I had nobody to talk to, so I talked to the camera. I could only call my friends so many times and talk to them so long.
Yeah.
So I just started talking to the camera. So I did it like 50-50. And now it's more, I think it's more of a job.
Yeah.
Than I enjoy it, but I see it as more as a job, because now I'm actually, okay, I'm making money off this. This is going somewhere. Let's get at it. Let's work it, you know?
Yeah. Do you regret doing YouTube?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
No. Yeah. No regret. Actually, I'm happy I did it, because it fits everything that's me. I think I don't know if I explained on video or not, but I've always been one that likes to talk, to tell stories, to explain.
Yeah.
And now that I have a camera, I've actually said this on my videos long time ago, I have a captive audience. Even though obviously the people can tune out or click out, but my captive audience is actually the little camera.
Yeah.
So I can talk as long as I want. He's not gonna tell me to be quiet.
Yeah.
Or he's not gonna like look off in the distance like, oh, I'm bored of this guy talking.
Do you feel like there's a power? When I put a video out there, I share my opinion, and it gets a lot of views, and people comment like, yeah, I agree, thanks for sharing this, you know? I feel like a sense of influence and power that's really, I wouldn't say addicting, but like, it fulfills the soul, you know? Do you feel that way when you share your opinions? No, actually, when I share my honest opinions about certain things that are kind of controversial,
I get not worried, but kind of like tense, like anxious. Like what are they going? Am I going to offend people? So I don't like offending people. You know.
Yeah, I don't care to. I don't mind it. I'll do it.
I don't like offending people, so I try. But sometimes I put out a few videos that have been controversial, like in my theory, like my definition of controversial. And I remember one time I put out a video and I sent out to like 3 of my friends saying, "Hey, is this offensive?" You know, like like Dave, don't even worry, send it out. You know.
Yeah. Do you how much like what the audience will potentially think? Does that like matter to you? Like what you're saying, like the audience opinion. Okay, so when I make a video, I've made plenty of controversial videos.
I understand.
And I'll be like, okay, I know I'm gonna get backlash, but I also believe that this needs to be said, so I'm gonna say it. How will that stop you from making a potential video?
Look, I don't care. That's a great question. I could care less what people think about me and what they think of what I said, like about me as a person.
Yeah.
What I mean when I don't like hurting people or offending people. But if people, and I get comments, I get negative comments and people trolling or saying bad things about me, like this guy's an idiot, this guy.
Of course.
This video could have been 3 minutes instead of 15 minutes. He talks so much, right?
Yeah.
I could care less. That's their opinion of me. They have the right to it, but it doesn't hurt me or affect me.
Yeah.
You know. But I don't want to like just make an outrageous, opinionated comment that's gonna really offend people.
Yeah.
You know, if it's like something that I know is very, very controversial in my head, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, that's where you and I were different. I more so, and I'm glad because in the beginning, I feel like I was more hesitant, but now thankfully I've built an audience that they kind of expect that from me. So my videos, I talk about I always put like my opinion or personal stuff, and it's cool because now the audience has learned to like expect that out of me. You know.
There's a reason that I may not do that is because, in my experience, my personal experience, my opinions have changed and drastically.
That's fair. Yeah.
From a young age, and now I'm 39, going to be 40.
You're almost 40?
Yeah, I'm going to be 40, dude.
Fuck, you're old, bro.
yeah, I'm old. I don't feel it though. When I was in my early 20s, I had opinions that I look back now like, holy crap, why would I think that way?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So I've learned to keep those to myself because you never know they could change.
Yeah, hey, that's a fair point. In my opinion, in my 2 years in Colombia, I've changed my opinions on so many things. I remember we did a video in El Tesoro, the second video we did. I asked you about marriage, and I said that I didn't know if I want to get married, I don't know if I believed in it, and now I'm married with a girl from Manizales, you know? But something that I've noticed is that by sharing my opinions on every single point in my life, people have been really inspired by my growth, you know? So when they see the videos from before and they see how I think now, they're just like, wow, it's amazing following Wesley through this whole entire journey. You know, and to me, that's been really impactful, knowing that like, because no matter what, as controversial as some of my videos are, I'm always 100% honest. So people could disagree with my opinions, but I'm not trying to front, you know? And then the kind of person I am now, like, I don't know, I get messages all the time, and it's less about like, thanks for making videos about Colombia. It's always like, thank you for inspiring me with your story. And that to me as a YouTuber has been the most fulfilling thing.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Me, the most fulfilling thing is like, the most fulfilling thing is when I got a message one time, and it was this, one of my viewers said his like 8-year-old and 7-year-old daughter.
You told me that, yeah.
Like,
you guys, they watch it together.
And he sent me a voice message to them thanking me and this and that, and like they really enjoyed it, like, oh, it's. And then other heartwarming things for me was, you know, hearing about a person who was intimidated about coming to Colombia, but they watched my videos and they had a better trip.
Yeah.
You know, or they adapted better. My recent videos all have been talking about the crime and like
yes, of course.
But I always try to put a positive to it as well. You know, like here's what happens, but here's how you stay out of it.
But I think it's necessary. A lot of foreigners come here and they just think everything's perfect in Colombia, but it's not. And I like that. I appreciate that you make those videos because 99% of the YouTubers that come here only show the good stuff. And they come and then they get drugged, they get robbed. They're like, why is it so hard to make friends? So it's good that you talk about those things.
Yeah, for sure. Like I did a consultation the other day, and this one dude was talking out. He was asking about going out, like getting a beer, going, hey, ciao,
que esté muy bien.
bye. Talking about going out and getting a beer, that kind of stuff, and I told him that, you know, it's not very common here in Colombia as part of the culture to go to a club or a bar that has loud music by yourself to drink a beer.
Yeah.
Like in the States it is.
Yeah.
and that's a high risk. You know, you can put yourself as a target. And he thought, I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
And people without even bad intentions, they just want to go get a beer. They can be a target here if they do it. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, you gotta talk about that kind of stuff. But I love Colombia. I love Medellin, and there's a reason why I always come back.
So what's the future for you? You're gonna stay here in Colombia for a while. You're gonna think about traveling. What's in the plans?
Man, the best situation for me would be to make Medellin my home base, and then from here, travel out to different countries.
Yeah.
And for my channel, actually, you asked me that question already. I'm considering doing like staying within my topic, staying with what I do, my lane that I'm known for, and that people consider me kind of an expert for.
Right.
But then go to other countries and kind of investigate other countries.
Yes, exactly.
Life with David investigating, and then when I do that, I do like a marathon. It's bring it out every day. Those like if I go to Ecuador, I'm gonna go investigate, and then boom, knock it out.
Yeah.
And then come back to my normal.
Your life here in Medellin.
My normal viewing content.
And you think you would compare your experiences there with how your life is in Colombia?
Yeah.
I think your content's really cool because no matter where you've traveled to, I always respect your thoughts because you have like a curious mind and you like being in the streets and like living things like firsthand, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes your content unique and different from some of the other YouTubers because you always try to meterte en la cultura, you know what I'm saying? Which is cool.
Right, and I've always done that all my life. Whenever I would travel as a kid with my family, or when I would travel with my solo traveling as a young person, the first day I would get to the hotel, leave like that morning, and just walk the whole city.
Yeah.
The first day I was always lost, but the second day I knew the city like back of my hand.
Yeah.
And I just walk. I never did tourist things. I never did nothing like that.
Yeah, I think it's boring when you do tours.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. So now I just do it on YouTube.
Yeah. So for me, my future in my channel, you guys now will know, is that I want to do some traveling again. That's how my channel started out. I'm kind of getting a little bored with Colombia, but like him, I want my main base to be in Manizales because that's where we're gonna raise our family. But we're thinking about, I want to travel to Asia. I want to travel to, my girl wants to go to Amsterdam. I've been already, but I want to take her there and show the experience of what it's like for her seeing the world because she's a small town girl. She hasn't done a lot of traveling, you know? And being able to do that with my wife and everything and eventually talk about my family when I raise my family and stuff. So it's cool, like you and I, we started both making videos about Colombia, but our careers are like so different and our channels are completely different. Our audiences has minor crossover, but I feel like for the most part, it's like way different.
Yeah. We're different people. That's the beauty about YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody can do something in there and just be themselves. I think authenticity is the best thing you can do on YouTube.
Yeah, honestly.
There's people who have made it very well not being authentic. You know, it's also a good way.
Yeah, but I couldn't sleep with myself at night. I'm sure you couldn't either if you knew you were BSing, you know?
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to say to them?
No, I think it's it. I mean,
yeah, man, I appreciate our friendship, man. It's awesome having you two. I'm glad that we're friends because we were friends first. And it's not just business, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how you feel with other YouTubers. Sometimes I work with other people and I'll feel like it's just business, but I feel like you and I were actually friends and we can hang out off camera and
I think also when you get to a certain level on YouTube, like if you meet other YouTubers who are either bigger than you or the same level, it could be easier friendship.
Because you understand each other's problems.
Oh yeah, that's like anything, like in any industry. You're talking to somebody in the same industry, you understand what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I said, I met those 4 collabs, like you being the 4th, like the other 3 collabs, and easy to connect, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I did the interview with La Karencita, it was nice. She was filming, and it's nice being around people where when you're filming and they understand and they're not weirded out by it. Because I feel like most people are kind of like, what is David doing? It's weird, right? Why is he talking to a freaking camera?
No, I say it to myself when I see my reflection when I'm talking to my camera.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.